Alright you guys, so we're back in Victoria Park. It's like I live here. Today we're just going to do 3 sets of 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, and it'll all be the same effort, but naturally I'll get a little bit faster as I sort of go along, because you know, if you're only running for a minute and you're trying to keep it a threshold, you can kind of do that quite easily for a minute, so you can go a little bit quicker. I'm kind of doing that on purpose because I've lost 8 to 10 days, because the ankle fitness won't feel epic, but it'll allow me to go a little bit quicker. If I do 5 minute reps, 6 minute reps, I'm gonna have to slow it down because that sort of edge of fitness that I'd possibly built, I've probably lost. We're gonna finish the warm up. That's the sort of jogging part done. I'll do those drills, I'll do those strides, super important. And then I'll sort of get into the, you know, 3 sets of 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute. We'll check a lactate. That'll sort of tell me that I kept the effort in a good place. So let's get stuck into that. All right, you guys, so that's the warm up, completely sort of done and dusted. I noticed when I was doing a little bit of the band stuff, stabilization on this right ankle is still not great, but because of the direction that I'll be running today, at least I'm leaning to the left, which I didn't plan on purpose, but it's kind of worked out quite cool. That'll put a little bit less pressure through the ankle. The goal of the session is to get in and get out, not just with minimal cost from a energy perspective and a quick recovery, but also I don't want to re-upset the ankle. There's no point resting for 8 or 9 days and then re-upsetting it by trying to rush back into training. So I think I spoke about it on the actual injury video. You want to treat that first week of sort of training when you're getting back into it purely for just seeing, is the ankle okay? You're trying to do enough to sort of get the fitness going again, but not too much that you re-upset the injury. I did a really good job, 8, 9 full days off, just a little bit of cycling. That allowed it to settle down a lot, but then you don't want to upset something else or re-upset the ankle in the process of getting back into training. So we'll do the 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute. I took lap pace, so I won't see pace at all. I'll know the sort of effort. I forgot my heart rate strap, so I don't, the wrist might work and I will show you bits of that, but because I don't have the heart rate strap, it's really a session that we're not trying to overcomplicate. We're just trying to find a decent rhythm, hopefully run a little bit quicker than Tuesday, which was around sort of 5:10 to 5:15 per mile. The ankle was okay with that, but hopefully we find a decent rhythm. The legs feel pretty good, they're fresh, and we'll get stuck into the session. So once the session's done, we'll talk a little bit about it. We'll talk a little bit about getting the, it's almost like an MOT test post. If you don't know what an MOT test is, Chris is getting his car MOT test right now. I need to get my car MOT test. An MOT test is kind of like a making sure the car's okay, getting things topped up, where there's oil levels, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to make sure the body's okay before you push it into the harder training that's going to move you forward. And that's so important. If you rush that process, that's when you end up either tired or hurt again. Well, let's get stuck in. Probably ask for a better morning. It's nice. I've actually took the hat and the gloves off because it got a little bit warm, but if ever there was perfect conditions, it's when you have to start with your hat and gloves on and then you get to take them off sort of during the session. It was perfect. I don't know paces yet. I know I averaged 5:12 per mile for what ended up being 5 miles. I didn't really do the maths. 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute with 60 seconds recovery between each rep. It ended up coming out to be longer than I probably thought. I was only counting the 18 minutes of actual rep, but I'm happy with that. The lactate was 2.9. I don't record the lactate and I don't really push it to you guys that much because I doubt you're all running around with lactometers. All it means is I did a good job of measuring the effort. FARTLEK is beautiful. That's like a bit of a sort of FARTLEK run, which means you're varying the time per rep, 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute. You're varying the paces and you're not standing still during the recovery sort of part. Benefits of that is you get to recover clearly during the sort of 60 seconds recovery. Depending on where your fitness is at or how you're feeling on that day would dictate during that sort of 60 seconds recovery, you know, how slow do you want to go? Do keep it moving. In a race, if you're trying to extract the most out of your body, you're trying to sort of hit your fastest time ever, you're likely not going to walk during that race. You might, but running is you're trying to keep it active, you're trying to sort of keep it moving. We'll let the plane go by quickly. I got them. Epic. So you are trying to keep it moving. when I start to get, I'm not going to say fitter, like I'm not fit, that was clearly pretty good given I've taken the time off. If you remember at DNF that session, maybe it gave me a chance to sort of freshen up, who knows. When you get to your fittest, you'll notice that the 60 seconds recovery, you end up going a little bit quicker. If you're trying to prioritize being faster because you think you need to work on your pace, slow that recovery bit down. If you're trying to work on your sort of aerobic endurance, you can speed that recovery up. I genuinely don't know the paces of the 3-2-1. I still haven't checked because it doesn't matter today. What matters is I kept it at a threshold pace. What matters is that the 3, the 2, the 1 got gradually quicker as I went on. How you achieve that is when you set off on the 3-minute rep, you think to yourself, am I going to be able to go quicker than this in the 2-minute rep? If the answer is no, slow down a little bit. So hopefully the pace progressed within the sort of 3-2-1 and you're practicing how to manage your energy levels, how you're feeling, don't be pushing too hard, etc. It was a good day, a very, very good day. Get in, get out with minimal cost. Ankle didn't feel awesome on the first few laps. I think that's where the shoe would rub the ankle rather than there still being damage, but it was feeling pretty good. The gear that you see me wearing, I've showed you little bits in the warm-up. You can check that out on, it's now 262clo.com or joggingclo.com. It's Black Friday week, there is a sale Friday 20. There's now a sub 3-hour marathon training plan on joggingroom.com. Where I went with that is it's the first time that I've done a specific plan with paces, which means you have to use it in a way that it's a 12-week plan and it says, if I can achieve these sessions, if I can get through this plan, it's likely that I'm very close to sort of that 3-hour sort of fitness. And so you can check that out. You could also move it in different directions for 2 hours 50, 2 hours 40, 3 hours 10. Just know that I have used 6:52 per mile as the sort of gold standard for that sub 3 hours. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you gained, something insightful out of it. I'm building back from that sort of injury. I think next week I'm going to do a little bit of a fitness test, which I'll try to get recorded. Then I can sort of put a plan in place for where does it go from here. There'll be races popping up. I'm probably thinking what would be very useful for me right now is to try to get some personal bests in the lower distances and then see it as, if I get a personal best in, let's say, a 5K or even a 3K, then I can move up to 5K. Then if I get a personal best in a 5K, then I can move up to 10K. And we're really trying to rebuild that lower sort of side of things, of that fitness, that sort of like higher intensity stuff, and then we progress to being able to shoot for another marathon into next year. But I'm super excited for all this. I'm enjoying my running again. That was a nice sort of healthy break that allowed me to sort of miss running a little bit, but then be excited about the sort of future that I have ahead. So I want to thank you guys for supporting me. Remember, you can check out Ketone IQ in the description below. There's links and stuff there, but I honestly do appreciate everyone out there that follows me, supports me, subscribes, comments, but appreciate it all, and take care.